So that all will come into the performance and cause analysis. Now cause analysis means when a person is not able to perform in some particular situation or in some particular circumstances, then what was the cause? In regular circumstances also, if a person is not able to perform, what is the cause? What is the cause of the delay? What is the cause of the improvement? So all these causes are to be analyzed and they need to be identified. Then organizational development is a person getting involved into the organization to help the organization increase itself, help the organization improve itself. So organizational development, organizational improvement, organizational upliftment is to be considered over there. Then evaluation part, evaluating the employee's performance, that is to be considered over there. So evaluation of the employee's performance, evaluation of the person's improvement in the work, evaluation of the regular work, evaluation of the specific task, whether the objectives are achieved, whether the goals are achieved or not. So that would come into your evaluation part. Haji, are you people getting? Is the thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is your performance management. Now, what is performance management? How the performance of a person is being evaluated. Performance appraisal, potential appraisal, then your job analysis, all these things would go together. Now, performance management means whether a person is able to perform in every situation. Okay, if he is performing, does his performance meet the standards? So we have set some standards, like for example, you people are giving your exams, fine. So you are 10 people who are giving the exam. So someone has scored 60%, someone has scored 70, 75, 80, 90. So likewise you have scored the different numbers, right? Now how I will tell that 60% person is scoring D grade or C grade, 90% person is scoring A plus grade? Because these are the set standards. What you have scored, what you have performed, that will be measured with the set standards, and accordingly your performance will be checked upon. So same is in the case of the performance management. Employees are performing, they are giving their work done, they have achieved their objectives, so they are giving their performance, and that performance is being measured with the set standards. And the set standards will tell that whether a person is able to perform or whether a person is not able to perform, where he needs improvement and where he don't needs improvement. So that is in the performance management system. Next is the competency modeling. Competency modeling means, again, it is a kind of performance management system. Competency means, is a person capable, is a person competent to perform in different situations? Will his performance, will his outcomes, will his results, when measured with the standards, will give the appropriate outcomes or not? So that is the competency modeling. So competency is being evaluated. Then competency assessment, in which situation a person is not able to perform, why he is not performing as per the standards. So that all will come into the assessment part. Now here we are going to assess the thing, we are going to evaluate the thing. So clear with the application part?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is, what are the advantages? Critical incidence method provided dramatical demonstration of the impact of the behavior. So impact of the behavior will come, means how a person, in very simple way, in some particular incidents, how a person is behaving. So that behavior will be demonstrated over there. Does not force the respondents into any given framework. So they are not being forced to respond. Every employee, they are doing their work on their own willingness. They are not being forced to respond upon the things. Next is the flexible method. It is very flexible method. As per your change, as per your needs, as per your requirements, the things can happen and you can make the changes. So flexible method is there. They are easy and economical to develop and administer. Obviously we are not going to put much money into it. It is very much easy and economical to develop the things. Then critical incidents, because we are just talking of the critical incidents which has already occurred, We are not going to make some new framework. We are not going to put some new investment. We are not going to prepare something new setup for the same. So that is the incident which has happened. Critical incidents can measure the abstract constructs such as the motivation through their demonstration in the reported behavior. So that would be into your reported behavior kind of thing. Now, when the data are collected through an anonymous survey approach, protecting their identity. So, as I have already informed you, this is the one method in which the survey will happen. We will collect the data, fine. We will consider the outcomes of the other people also. We are going to consider the viewpoint of other people also, but the identity of the person won't be revealed. So that will be a positive point. So everyone will be very openly given the feedback, and because the feedback, the name of the person is not being revealed, so it will be considered accordingly. So that is the most important and the positive point. Next are the disadvantages. In critical incidents, report of the behavior are filtered through the lenses of the individual perception, memory, honesty, biasness, and through many, and therefore may not be entirely accurate. So as the humans are there, human is evaluating a human, so there will be a biasness. It won't be into the it may go for the individual perception. A perception for one person may be good, a perception for the another person may be bad with the same person, so that may create some biasness. So partiality can be over there, so that is the another disadvantage. Then it can be time consuming and laborious to summarize and analyze the data. So you need to analyze time and again. The incidents keep on occurring. So you need to analyze time and again. So it is very time consuming. It is not shortcut. It is very long process. Negative incidents may be more noticeable than the positive incidents. Obviously, जब कोई गलती करता है उसको हम ज़्यादा पकड़ते हैं बजाय उसके जो the one who is doing something good. So negative impact is more noticeable as compared to that of the positive impacts. In result, it results in the very close supervision, which may not be liked by the employees. So everyone will be in a eyes of the other people. So everyone will be observing the people who are being whose performance is being evaluated. So that would be a close supervision of the people. The recording of the incident may be core for the manager concerned, who may be too busy and forget to do. So recording by the manager is to be main point. So he may forget it because he may be too busy in his responsibilities and duties. So that may be the another problem. So that's with the critical incidents method. Any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so next we are going to start up with so T group is an OD intervention. T group means team groups, fine. These are being prepared, T groups are being prepared for the structured and the express goals, fine. They are being taken care as a part of the sensitivity training. So there is one sensitivity training as a training method in training and development. So T groups is one of that method, fine. So let's start with this. A T group meeting does not has an explicit agenda, structure or express goals. So nothing specific is going to happen over there. Under the guidance of the facilitator, the participants are encouraged to share their emotional reactions. Now, who is the facilitator? T group, as the name depict, there will be a group of the people who will be sitting together. A common incidents would be given, a common act would have been given, a common topic would have been given, or a problem would have been given to these people. They will discuss upon all these problems, they will discuss upon that specific issue, and they will be giving their viewpoints. And this whole method and this whole process will be evaluated, will be monitored by one person who is named as the facilitator. Like a teacher is standing in a group and in a class, and you people in a group are doing some group discussion kind of thing. So teacher will be known as a facilitator over there, and you people will be known as the group members, right? So under the guidance of the facilitator, the participants are encouraged to share the emotional reactions. Now what will be the emotional reactions, such as, for example, anger, fear, warmth, and envy, that arises in response to their fellow participants' action and the statement. So in that group discussion, you people, the group members, they will be very much free to express each and everything over there. Now what will be they expressing? Their anger, their fear, their revenge, their some kind of emotional setback kind of thing related to one incident or the another incident, or some statement given by someone. So that will be discussed over there. So in a T group is a form of the group training. Now this will be a training part where the participant themselves, typically between the 8 and 15 people. So the group size would be from 8 to 15 people. Learn about themselves. They learn about themselves, what they are, about the small group processes in general, through their interaction with each other. So they will be discussing about themselves, they will be discussing about the incident, they will be discussing about their peers over there, and they will come to know about the each and everything, and they will interact with each other. They use feedback, problem solving, role play to gain the insight into themselves, others, and the group. So there is an feedback. The feedback will be provided. The discussion would be over there about some problems, about some incidents, so that they can discuss it. The emphasis is on sharing emotions as opposed to judgment or conclusion. So that is just a sharing. They are not being allowed to conclude the thing. They are not being allowed to make some judgment according for something. In this way, T group participant can learn how their words and action trigger emotional responses in the people they communicate with. So their words and actions are used as an emotional response. Fine, so that is an emotional response. They are not allowed to make some judgment, to make some conclusion, to come upon the result related to something or some person. Many variants of the T group have existed, from the initial T group that focuses on small group dynamic to those that aims more explicit to develop the self-understanding and interpersonal communication. Industries also widely use T group. So many variants of the T group have been existed. So these, out of these big group, these small groups are being formed, and they are being given a focused area upon which they are going to work upon. So this is the main dynamics of that group. The aim is that the people would understand the interpersonal skills, they will communicate with each other, and it will happen in the industry wide, right? So how industry wide and how explicit these things are going to happen, because they are going to focus upon small dynamic issues. Fine, every group will be having a different issue, and every group will be discussing these different aspects. So that's why T group will work in a dynamic form. It is not going to work in a static form. Next, the most recent version of the T group is the Appreciative Industry Human Interaction Laboratory, which focuses on the strength based learning process. Now, here it will be a learning process which will be based upon the strength of a person. It will be based upon the human interaction of the laboratory people. So, it will be working upon the concept that every person, they will be giving their own emotions. Every person, they will be interacting with the another group member, and they will be giving their own viewpoints related to one purpose or one process or one event. So that's why we will say that it is an appreciative inquiry human interaction laboratory. Now it's a variation of NTL T group, since it shares the value and experiential learning model which with the classic T group. So now they are having a learning model. How it is a learning model? Because everyone, they will be giving their viewpoints, everyone they will be giving their feedbacks, everyone will be sharing their own emotions, own state of mind out of their past experiences. So they have done the experience, they have done with the experimental form, the things would have already occurred with them, so that's why they are able to give their viewpoints, or that's why they are able to give their own statements related to the thing. So that's all with the T group part. Any doubt? हाँ जी बच्चे, any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, next. Now, fishbowl strategy is designed to help the student build the social skill and to help them develop the conversation skills. Now, social skills means how you are going to interact in a society, how you are going to debate upon a topic. So, and how you are going to conversate related to it, means how you are going to speak upon that topic, how you are going to jot down the points, you are going to convince the other people related to something. So that is known as the fish bowl strategy. In this, in a bowl, there are a number of topics which are kept in that bowl. A student will pick that and is going to explain the thing. So the fish bowl strategy is designed to help the student build the social and to help them social skill and to help them develop the conversation skills. The idea is that the two students are surrounded by the rest of the class and they will then debate on a topic. The bowl is formed by the students surrounding them. There is a link, so this is a YouTube link, this we will do afterwards. So this, the people in the red dots, they are the class over there. So students are over there in the class. So these are the voluntary students, the student voluntary who are going to speak upon it. And the one with the blue color, that is the teacher who is going to monitor. So she is the facilitator over there. Now, there are 5 steps in this. First, select a topic for the fish bowl. Almost any topic is suitable for the fish bowl discussion. The most effective prompt questions or the text do not have one right answer, but rather allow the multiple perspectives and the opinion. The fish bowl is an excellent strategy to use when discussing the dilemma. Fine. So when some kind of dilemma is there, when some kind of confusion is there, when some kind of debate is to be kept upon there, so in that form, a fish bowl method is being used and the person is being allowed to speak upon that particular topic. Then setting up the room. So next point is setting up the room. You need to maintain the room accordingly. ये नहीं है कि आप parallel form में बैठ जाओगे. You need to sit in a circular form. So you people will be sitting in a chair. A fish bowl requires a circle of chairs, the fish bowl, and enough room around the circle for the remaining students to observe what is happening in the fish bowl. Sometimes the teacher places the enough chairs for half of the students in the class to sit in the fish bowl, while the other time the teachers limit the chairs in the fish bowl. Typically 6 to 12 chairs allowed for the range of the perspective while still allowing each student an opportunity to speak. The observing students often stand around the fish bowl. So in this fish bowl, you will have approximately 6 to 12 people who will be sitting on the chair. Rest of the students, they will be standing aside and they will be observing the things. That will be the one round. In the another round, who were standing, they will start sitting and the other people, they will observe. So they are going to divide the whole class into different groups. That will be the group of 6 to 12 people accordingly, as per the number of the students who are over there. So there's, in such a way, it will be a setup. So that is the preparation of the room. Next is the preparation. Like many structured conversation, fish bowl discussions are most effective when the students have had a few points to prepare the idea and questions in advance. So they need, so it will be more, effective one, it will be more interesting one when the topic is already conveyed to them and they have jotted their points in advance only. They have the viewpoints, they have prepared their ideas, they have prepared their thought process over there, and they are going to answer the questions when they are being asked upon. Next is the discussing the norms and the rules of the discussion. Kindly read this. So after the discussions, students will be they will be evaluating the things, how the discussions had happened. So evaluation would be there. They are going, the persons who were listening over there, the persons who were participants over there, they are going to evaluate, and they are going to provide with the suggestions whenever they are required. And it is also being discussed over there that how this discussion, how this conversation can be improved in the future. So some positive aspect of the fishbowl method are: provide greater interaction between the student and the teacher. Instructors are able to maintain the greater control because they can steer the conversation. So instructor, they have a control over there. Instructor means the teacher. They have the greater control over there because they can control the things whenever it is going on the hype. Whenever some, they need to stop in the discussion, or the discussion is going in some other direction, so it will be controlled over there. The students tend to stay more focused because they may get called upon. So anyone may be pinpointed, they may be asked about the thing, and they need to reply for the same. Some disadvantages, cons of the fresh bowl method is: may be difficult or uncomfortable for socially awake students. Then there must be ground rules, and they must be enforced, or they could be easily go off the topic. So the discussion may go into some other point. They may not be talking about the ground level reality. So it may be just the idea, or they may be going in some wrong direction. So that is all into the fishbowl method. So that's all with the fishbowl method. Are you clear with the three topics which we have discussed? Any doubt in any method? Anji, any doubt? So in this role play, what are the other main purpose of it? To provide the emotional and the effective stimuli for solving the problem. So for solving some problems, a stimuli is there, or an act is there, or an topic is there. So it will be with the help of the discussion, they will be able to solve that problem. To provide awareness about the social and psychological issues. So it will provide the awareness related to the various social issues and the psychological issues. To develop a situation for analysis. So a situation will be there in which you people are going to analyze the things, other people are going to evaluate the things. So basically the situation is developed for analyzing the things accordingly. To prevent the alternative course of action. So if in one situation, one of the topic is not being taken out, or one of the problem is not being solved out, so that will be used, and it will be related to the developing a situation for analysis to prevent alternative course of action. So and another course of action would be over there, so we are going to work upon that another action to prepare for the meeting the future situation. So in future, what all problems can be faced, we need to tackle out for the same in the proper time only. So preparing for the future need, जो आगे future में required है उसको पहले से ही we need to solve it out. To develop an understanding of the other point of view. So we need to understand the other viewpoints also. We need to understand the other ideas also, other people ideas also. So we need to understand about all these things. To convey the information, to convey information, to develop the specific skills. So specific skills are to be understand, and they need to be developed upon. So we need to provide the information related to that specific skills. Now, what is the principle upon which it is working? Role play is based upon the philosophy that meanings are in people and not in the words or the symbols. So, जो लोग हैं उनमें से ही हमको एक मीनिंग निकल के आएगा, उनके एक्ट में से ही हमको एक प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन मिल जाएगा. So we need to work upon these principles rather than the other things. So that is into your problem solving part. If the philosophy is accurate, one must in the first place share the meaning, then clarify our understanding of each other's meaning, and finally, if necessary, change our meanings. So we need to change the meanings whenever it is required or whenever it is being issued over there. So that is into your incident method. Then role play has to do with the self concept. So that is, they everyone have their own self concept, everyone have their own viewpoint, so they will be discussing upon that viewpoints accordingly. So that is into your uh, role play method. The self concept is the best changed through direct involvement in a realistic and life related problem situation rather than hearing about such situation from someone others. So that would be into your, the self concept is based upon through their direct involvement. When I am directly involved in something, so I will have my own self concept as compared to the another person. जिसने वो सिचुएशन में एंटर ही नहीं किया, तो उसको उसके बारे में क्या पता हो सकता है. सो एज I have entered into that situation, I have worked upon that situation, so I will have the more self concept related to that particular topic or particular problem. Creating a teaching situation that leads to the change of self concept requires a distinct organization pattern. So that requires a different pattern upon that. So it will be more of a teaching situation. Role play should be flexible one. It should be very much flexible. Everyone should be allowed to act accordingly. The role play should be stimulant to think and should not be an escape from the discipline or learning. So it should not be moving away from that kind of situation. There is no single best method for selecting the characteristics. The group may do the assigning. So a group member may do the assigning part, a group member may work upon it accordingly. हाँ जी बच्चे, are you able to understand what is role play, how it is going upon?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is, it requires rehearsals as an important feature to produce an effective outcomes. So whenever there is a role play, you need to rehearsal it, you need to act upon it time and again before the final role play is going to happen. So you need to do maximum rehearsals, maximum practices as much as you can before doing a final role play in front of the another. So rehearsals are required over there for an effective role play. Role play should be done for a brief period so that the attention of the audience may be captured effectively. Role play should not be very much lengthy because it will not capture the attention of the people. It should be short, crux should be there. It should be very much specific one when you are giving some role play kind of thing. So it should be brief, for a brief period. Enough time should be allowed for discussion and analysis of the situation. So time should be given so that they can evaluate the role play, they can get the outcomes out of it. Role play evaluates the teachers and the participants through discussion or follow up as to specific individual behavior or the sequence of the group actions. So that is to be given upon over there. So role play is being evaluated by the teachers also and the participants who are seeing that role play. Now the steps in the role play: planning phase, implementation phase, and evaluation phase. The role play was going in an effective point or not. So feedback is the most important part. Once the feedback is taken, it must be sorted. So the people, they need to sort it accordingly. Which was the good feedback, average feedback, accordingly we are going to sort out and We are going to consider which were the good point and which were the poor points, or which need to be omitted upon, which were the drawbacks out of it. Now, role playing observes, this might be played by the different people. Now, every person, they will be behaving in a different role. Their behavior need to be compared upon each other, and the different people will be behaving accordingly. So that may be a comprehension person. So comprehension is there. The things are being observed, the things are being maintained, and accordingly they are acting upon the things. So the observation should be there. Now, next would come upon the summarizing phase. The things need to be summarized in the form. So leader sums up with the group. Now, the group will have a person, like a role play is happening. In that role play, there will be a person who will become as a leader, and they will write down the main points, and they are going to summarize the things that what is being happening in the role play, what were their comments, what were the observations, and all the following comments will be given over there. So that will be the summarizing phase. Means we are going to give the summary related to one particular thing. Then they comment upon the specific problems. The comments are given upon some specific problem, and they are being under the consideration. Now, what consideration would be? They are being under the observation of the people. Now, this is the process how the things are going to happen. Individual study, role assigned. Some role is being assigned to everyone. Group discussion, the people are together and they are going to discuss. Now the production of the shared artifacts. So what were the facts, they are being calculated, they are being considered, and they are going to speak upon the things accordingly. Next are the advantages of role play. Children have always learned from the mimicry and the duplicating the action of the others, including their parents and the peers. The role playing is simply a continuation of the learning already done by the students. So basically, this role play will happen in an organization. In this organization, the people who have come for the training, the new people who have joined the organization, they are coming for the training part. So in this training, they are being provided up with the training by giving them the role play. So as for example, a person has joined the marketing department, and in his training he will be given a role of a marketing manager, that he needs to sell these things into the market. So how he will be acting upon that particular role. So that is, they are going to work upon that role, they are going to play upon that role in a particular situation for which they have been trained over there. So that is how the training part is being happening in an organization. So role play is simply a continuous of the learning already done by the students. So marketing is already being learned by them. Now how it is practically going to happen, that is into the role play in their training part. People enjoy playing, especially the young people. If the students are already motivated to play, learning through play would become even easier. So they are playing the things, so that will be more easier part to learn upon, because it is a practical part. Role play encourages the use of the critical thinking because it involves analyzing and problem solving. Therefore, role play is a cognitive learning method. So it is a cognitive method. Role play teaches many lessons. Some of the most important lessons it teaches are the lessons that need in the society: competition, cooperation, and emphasis. So they are being empathic, so they are being given the different roles, and it gives you many learning, like the social interaction, social demonstration. The people are going to learn out of those things. The feedback is being provided, how emotionally they are going to react upon. So all those things are being learned from the role play only. So the participants in the role play allow the students to make the decisions, and through the feedback he or she receives, he sees the result of his action and can therefore learn how to adjust his words and action to produce the more likable results. So how the results are to be gathered upon, how positive the results are to be come upon, so that is being considered by a participant in a role play. Role play allows the interaction between the classmates and the peers. So that is the basic advantage of this role play. So there will be the interaction between the every classmate and the peer people. It also allows the introvert students to speak out. The people who feel shy, the people who are introverts, the people who don't like to speak, who hesitate in speaking in the class. So they will also speak over there because it helps to break down their clique. So they will break down out of this. They will come out of this, and they are going to play. They are going to speak upon there. Why? Because it will be mandatory for everyone to speak. Role play allows the exchange of the knowledge between the students. So knowledge sharing will be there. The teacher is also able to see the various capabilities of the student at the same time. So various capabilities, the various positive things. What all are the capabilities of the student that are being shown upon, and in which the things are good and in which the things are not good, they are also being considered over there by the teacher. So next is your